What's up, YouTube world? Happy Labor's Day. Well, in this case, happy belated Labor Day, but it's Labor Day when we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wearing the flag of my country. I'm repping my country today, Trinidad and Tobago, because I had a crazy weekend. Shang-Chi is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, an indie director. We don't really know the projects he's done before, but Marvel's famous for that. And it's also starring Simu Liu, who ironically, I actually work with an actor who did a play with him a couple years back, so that's pretty cool. Aquafina, we all know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Mengher Zhang, Fala Chen, Floria Montanu, Benedict Wong, Michelle Yeoh, Ben Kingsley, and Tony Leung.
Apologies if we mispronounce any of these names. We are not experts in this language at all.
I'm pretty sure I butchered half these names, so please spare the hate.
Yeah.
No Asian hate here, guys. I'm just okay. So Shang-Chi is essentially about Shang-Chi, the son of Wenwu, who is the original Mandarin, and he possessed the 10 rings, and he uses the 10 rings to amass a big organization, a big army.
But you also
the
calls
10 rings. But you also call the 10 rings.
Because that won't get confusing,
right? And him with the 10 rings, along with the 10 rings, basically throughout the last couple thousand years, been toppling governments, conquering kingdoms, and doing so with a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Until he meets, until he visits the magical land of Taolo. So Wenwu meets this lady that kicks his ass, and they fall in love, and then they have 2 kids, Shang-Chi and Xi Zhenling.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to present day, Shang-Chi is living in San Francisco, and he is a valet driver, and he fucks around with his best friend, played by Aquafina. And what they do, they essentially avoid responsibilities by stealing cars that they post valet and drive them, go for joyrides, and they also do karaoke at the end of the night. And their lives are not like what's meant out to be. They kind of just living under their potential and like typical shit in that predicament, like they could be doing more, but not, of course. Until one day on the bus going to work, this dude, random Romanian thug, with a fucking
chainsaw,
a machete hand that heats up, comes on the bus trying to take Shang-Chi's penchant, which is this green necklace that he wears, and then they lead to a big bus brawl, and then that leads to a whole bunch of shit being explained, and they end up rekindling with their father, and he ends up rekindling with his father and his sister, who cut. No, all right, no. Okay, I'm good. I'm just gonna restart. Okay, in essence of a big bus fight, and they get the penchant. So then he goes to meet his sister in Macau, and they go for their penchant, and that's when they meet their father again. And the father has a whole plan to rescue their mother, because he believes, we see her die, he believes that her soul or whatever is being trapped behind a wall back in her homeland. Mm-hmm. But he's been rejected from that land, so he can't actually enter, which is Taolo. So his plan is to go there and free her with the 10 rings, and if not, he's going to burn that village down. So Shang-Chi is not going to have that. That's his mother's village. He blames his father for a lot of shit. He has a lot of daddy issues. He blames the father because of his past as the reason why she got killed and stuff like that. And now he feels he also wants to burn down the village as well. He wants to burn down her village as well, so he feels that he needs to protect them. But he doesn't believe it at first until they meet this magical creature that was in this cave in the father's compound along with Ben Kingsley, who's the first Mandarin from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, and then he's just there for some
reason. He's there because he speaks to the creature.
Mm-hmm.
And through speaking to the creature, he's able to communicate what the creature says to Shang-Chi and Aquafina and the sister, and they find themselves in Taolo, where they meet the sister of their mother, the aunt, and then she shows them all types of cool shit, like the levitating the leaves shit, and they train, and Aquafina learns bows and arrows, and then she tells them the truth, and the truth is that there's a big monster behind that wall, and the monster is manipulating the father because that monster knows that the 10 rings can free the monster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially the plot. My thing about that is one of my biggest gripes about Shang-Chi is just and it's not even like their fault. I guess it's because it's an obscure character and there's so much to go through that he kind of summarize everything up into a bunch of exposition subplots where it takes up like minutes, which is still interesting because it's interesting. It's an interesting story, but it's like I'm a firm believer in show not tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really feel like there was an effort to show anything. Like they're telling as much as they can.
Yeah, and it's like, and it got monotonous because like you're just going from one exposition. You have Shang-Chi's exposition about who he is, and then you have the father's exposition about him saving the mother, and an exposition about how she died, and an exposition about Michelle Yeoh talking about their land and what their land is about, and the monsters behind the wall. So just like there's so much information overload. It's like, dude, let's get to the actual story. Yeah. And then you have little time that shows them training, and for some reason Shang-Chi just mastered the whole lead water thing, telekinesis thing. You know what I mean? When he barely practiced it, just because he's the chosen one and he is his destiny or whatever else.
Yeah, he's the last airbender.
Yeah, it's like he just got and had to study for years to master elements. This dude did it shit in like hours. I wish we got to explore the land a lot more. We just kind of saw one little village.
Yeah, it was more like, oh, hey, welcome to this magical land. Okay, you have to stay in this magical land.
Like, this whole thing about movies nowadays, like, that's why, like, thing is, like, especially superhero movies, they fill with exposition and have very little things to show and actually do.
Yes.
Because it's too big just explaining things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should have had, and that falls into pacing problems. You're focusing, you're putting too much emphasis on the wrong things. You should be focusing on, like, just discovering the land, discovering different parts of the land, training, learning, discovering things, not just through expositions, but actually discovering them. You know what I'm saying? Like, different subplots. You know what I mean? Like romance or relationships, analyzing relationships, building the bond back between him and his sister. Him getting some kind of, connection with Awkwafina, something, actual story, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like, really, one thing I wish they played, like, they kind of, like, teased this a bit. One thing I wish they really played a lot more with is, because, like, both him and Awkwafina kind of have a similar character arc in the sense that they both start off in the film, like,
losers.
Well, no, I wasn't going to say that. I was talking more about, like, they start off almost ignorant of their heritage, like Awkwafina being very ignorant of
that's even deeper. I'm sorry, you're right.
Awkwafina being very ignorant of her heritage, and Shang-Chi actively running away from
he wasn't ignorant. I think that's the wrong word for Shang-Chi. Running away. But she's kind of running away too. She's not ignorant. She was running away too because she knows about it, but she's American. She wants to be American. But she doesn't really speak Chinese. They don't even know Chinese. Yeah. So that's. So
I wish they played more into that. Yeah. I wanted to see them more really get involved in their heritage as the movie progressed.
She's Chinese
they did that. Yeah, they did that a little bit, but I wish they did that a lot more.
Yeah, I wish she had a little something too. You know what I mean? Like some kind of connection to it too, instead of just being normal Chinese. But I mean that's cool too. That works. Yeah. But through that, she was discovering the things that the Chinese people talk about in like religious texts or whatever. So yeah, So I agree. That's even a much deeper take. I thought you was going like this way they began to where they finished.
No, where they began to where they finished is fine, I guess. Yeah. I have no real issues with that. Yeah. But like I was talking more about like their heritage. I thought they could have done a lot more with that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought they kind of like fleshed out, not fleshed out, but I think they kind of. I personally feel that he kind of breached the topic in the beginning, especially when he went to her house to pick her up to go to work. Yeah. And he's speaking to the aunts and stuff like that, and the grandmother. So that was a missed opportunity right there too.
Yeah, you really could have done a lot with that.
So, but I still had a very enjoyable experience with this movie. It was fun to watch. Had me not super emotional, but emotional. And I like the villain. I like Wenwu. I like the guy who plays him.
Yeah, he was good.
I thought he was really good. The post-credit scene was pretty interesting because we see Wong take them and he was studying the 10 rings and he was studying the energy that was behind it. So I'm really intrigued to see what that leads to. Overall, we just feel that it was entertaining. Yeah. Charismatic leads. I mean,
it's a solid movie.
Interesting character. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like you're right. But at the end of the day, we both agree that it's pretty much just another standard, typical Marvel superhero origin story, commercial appeal. Like
honestly, I felt like I watched a better version of Black Widow.
Yeah. Now, Black Widow is more of a prequel, and it wasn't really an origin story, but I guess we did learn about her.
It was kind of an origin story, kind of.
Yeah, because you got to learn about her past a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
But
you also did a lot of things with like family drama and shit. Like you had a wacky comic relief older dude. Like,
these are the different tropes. These are like the tropes, the character tropes that you was. These are the many different characters that you would typically see in like an adventure superhero or the story or just film in general.
Can we have new characters, please?
Yeah, we see something refreshing.
Yes.
I'm a fan of adventure films and I want to see, but I just want to see different dynamics. You know what I mean? Just switch it up, man. I mean, stop going to the same. That's the problem with big commercial corporate stuff. They just go through. If it doesn't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that leads to this repetitive shit. It's just not
it really
fulfilling.
does.
It just comes off blah blah blah.
And now we're getting repetitive shit, but this time with like different flavors. Like, okay, this one's Asian flavored.
But it's still the same shit. Asian cast, but it's still the same shit. You know what I mean? Just different colors. Different styles with the same exact shit. But
different styles. So, sometimes you get a bunch of styles wrapped into one.
And the end fight scene with the monster wasn't even that interesting. That shit was boring.
Yeah.
That's probably the most boring part of the whole film, in my opinion.
I agree.
And this is the film that's loaded with exposition.
I would have rather just had like a big martial arts fight with him and his dad.
Yeah, that's it. It's a lot of missed opportunities. So I'm gonna have to give this movie like a 2.9, 3.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the whole style of it and it was kind of exciting. It was fun to watch. So
yeah, I give it a 3 also.
But in terms of like all the stuff in it, the meat and bones are just not. It's not rich.
It's raw.
It's very raw. Could have been a lot better. And yeah, that concludes my reaction. What about you, Nick? How do you feel? What is your overall consensus and grade for this movie?
I agreed with you. I thought even before you said it, I thought 3 was the perfect number for this movie.
Okay, and what is your final comments on this film?
My final comments, I mean, I would have liked it more if it was more of a martial arts movie, less of a Marvel movie. But hey, if a martial arts Marvel movie is something that appeals to you, then go for it. It's solid. It's far from the worst thing the MCU's put out. Not even close.
And with that, of course, subscribe to the channel.
Hit that like button, y'all.
And stay tuned for more content.